Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for another edition of Texas Insider TV, brought to you by Speedstream. I'm Jim Cardle. She was a candidate for Congressional District 25 2 years ago, and this year a surprise winner and victorious in the Senate District 25 race. Today we're visiting with Dr. Donna Campbell from San Antonio. Donna, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for asking.
You have a bit of a statewide presence now because of your previous races, a race that I mentioned, and are a grassroots campaigner extraordinaire, according to some. But first of all, let me ask you, if I can, in a typical question for folks that may be outside your district. You've beaten a 20-plus year incumbent and a former statewide elected official. You had to do some things to differentiate yourself. What has it been that you feel is differentiating you from your opponent so far in the Republican primaries?
Great question. You know, I look at that in two parts, really. The actual district had a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. We are blessed with representing one of the most conservative districts in Texas. And that being said, people were ready for a change for conservative government. They were ready for someone to step up with fresh ideas that's not willing to accept status quo government. That momentum, along with our message, which of conservative government, is what brought this win in. Yes, we have a broad grassroots base, but really, there's just a lot of Texans that love Texas. And they were ready to get on board with a change that will bring in that conservative government. Our message resonated with the people, and we had a resounding win.
Let me ask you about that, or drill down a little bit deeper, talking about the mood of the Texans right now. There is a lot of that, not only concern for our nation, but literal fear. And it's impacting you statewide races or state races from the national races. Were there any in particular specific issues? I know we've heard a lot during the political convention about jobs. What is the mood or the pulse that you are hearing from folks as you visit across the district, which I should mention runs from here in Austin all the way down to San Antonio?
All the way across the northern part of San Antonio. Jobs is a major concern, and the overarching issue is economy. Mm-hmm. People know that if we don't have a strong economy, and I'm not just talking the surface, but down to the roots, meaning bringing in a budget, then we won't have a strong economy. And without a strong economy, investors will not invest, and the jobs won't be there, because businesses can't create private sector jobs. So jobs are important, our economy is important, as well as our natural resources. Water indirectly impacts our economy. Mm-hmm. We've got to bring that up. It's not something it's not a can we can kick down the road, if you will. We can no longer tread what little water we have in Texas. And the other that I'm hearing across the district as an issue is our transportation. I don't think anybody in any of the big cities across Texas would disagree with me in that we have got to fix our transportation system. Again, going back to economy, if we can't get the businesses can't get products from point A to point B, we have a problem. If people trying to get to work can't get from home to business in an efficient amount of time, economy is not as efficient as it can be. So we've got to do that.
We're going to have you back at some point to talk about the transportation issue. It's a huge one, for Texas, but particularly for you. Again, folks, we're visiting with Dr. Donna Campbell, Republican candidate for Senate District 25. Donna, you're a licensed ophthalmologist. You're an emergency room doctor. Jobs, obviously, you said was an issue, probably healthcare, but how about if I can step back a little bit? A lot of folks looked at your race, beginning with a 3-person race, then a runoff against Jeff Wentworth, the incumbent. Mm-hmm. How hard was it for you to avoid grabbing the tar babies or to stay on message? Was the negativism of campaigns today something you felt like impacted the degree to which people followed your race?
I do. You know, it was not hard to stay on message because those were people's concerns. That was easy. It was a hard race because of all the negativity, and not just that was out there in our race. We were very successful in staying positive and on the issues. But statewide, every time there were those negative ads, it turned people off. And they saw that as status quo government, status quo politics, status quo people trying to keep their job. They're finished with that.
So they want to, if I may, more a solution-oriented. Don't be in the problem, be in the solutions.
Exactly. And that's where I come from. I recognize I've got a steep learning curve, but the people who are working, affected by the issues, they may not know it, but they've got solutions. We have to work within, ourselves, our grassroots, come up with the solutions. And I believe they're out there and we can do it. And I'm excited about it.
Okay, that leads to the final question here. Be respectful of your time to get back on the campaign trail. In working together in solutions, a lot of prognosticators are saying this is going to be a more conservative legislature, certainly a more conservative Senate, although many say that last session was arguably the most conservative in Texas history, but there's still that unrest amongst some of the voters. How about your anticipation of an upcoming session? Now, granted, you do have a Democrat opponent, but
I do.
As you go through the next couple months, what are you anticipating will be the mood of a future Senate, perhaps, when you get there?
The same mood that I saw and am seeing still as I run. They're ready for conservative government. Great with my entrance into the Senate, as well as some of the new members that will be there. We will actually be bringing in the most conservative Senate in Texas history. That then adds support to those senators we have, great senators we have, that maybe have not sensed the good conservative support. So they're going to have that now. We come in as part of a conservative class to support conservative senators that are there. I think we're going to see a great, strong conservative Senate. I'm looking forward to it and excited.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. We're going to have to leave it there.
Okay.
Please do come back.
Absolutely.
Folks, Senate candidate Donna Campbell, Senate District 25 from San Antonio to Austin, we appreciate you coming by.
Oh.
Congratulations on your primary win.
Thank you.
Remember to tune back in for future editions of Texas Insider TV, because you're either an insider or you're not. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jim Cardle.